Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Glenn Vandigan. Now, I am going to report the stages in implementing portfolio assessment. There are 6 stages in implementing portfolio assessment, and those are first, identifying teaching goals to assess through portfolio. Second, introducing the idea of portfolio assessment. Third, specification of portfolio content. Fourth, giving clear and detailed guidelines for portfolio presentation. Fifth, informing key school officials, parents, and other stakeholders. The sixth and the last one is development of the portfolio. Now, I am going to share to you of what is the stages in implementing portfolio assessment. So, according to Dr. Rosita D. Guzman Santos 2007, she stated there that first, identifying teaching goals to assess through portfolio. So the important thing to do in organizing portfolio assessment is to decide what teaching goals you have. To do this, ask yourself as a teacher or as a future teacher kung ano nga ba ang gusto kong matutunan sa aking mga estudyante. It is very important at this stage to be very clear of what the teacher hopes to achieve in teaching. Organizing portfolio assessment to establish teaching goals. So of course, the teacher needs to organize portfolio assessment in order to establish a good set of teaching goals. Teacher hopes to achieve in learning. So in this set of goals, it will serve as your guide on how you may assess your students' work. Kinakailangan bilang isang guro na tukuyin mo ang mga layunin sa pagtuturo kasama ng iyong mga mag-aaral. For example, general goals such as improvement in fluency of speech, and specific goal is to become a better listener and a more effective speaker. As the teacher clearly identifies their goals in terms of what the students will be able to do. The students will also do their part as they already know what they need to show. They need to show evidence on their portfolios. Guide how to assess students' work. So of course, you as a teacher needs to guide them on how to critically do their works effectively. The second one is introducing the idea of portfolio assessment to your class. So this stage is just like the first stage. Napakahalagang malaman ng mga mag-aral ang kahalagahan ng kanilang ginagawa, or at least they familiarize themselves about the concept of this assessment, at responsibilidad natin ito bilang isang guro o para sa mga magiging guro to explain them of what the portfolio means and the concept of portfolio assessment, and providing a better examples. Introduce the concept of the class. So it is very important for us to introduce portfolio assessment to your class. Um, the stage second is know the significance of their doing. So know the significance of what they are doing, or at least familiarize themselves about the concept of this assessment, and it is our responsibility as a teacher to guide them or to assess them, or explain them of what the portfolio means and the concept of portfolio assessment, and providing some examples. So there's $1 million questions. How can the teacher effectively use portfolio? Use portfolio. assessment as an alternative assessment tool. So if the students doesn't know what the portfolio assessment all about, so familiarize them about concept of assessment. It is very important to familiarize your students about the concept of assessment that you want to do to them. Do not use an assessment tool where your students are not familiar with, to avoid misinformations and also the confusions. So the third one, according to Dr. Rosita I. Navarro et al. 2013, she stated there that the third is the specification of portfolio content. So this this is where the teacher will specify the content of the portfolio for both core and optional entries on how it will be assessed. And with that, the teacher should inform the students with the scoring guide before making the task. So, what and how included the portfolio? So, specifically, what and how much has to be included in the portfolio to both core and options. Mahalaga rin na isama ang mga options sa pagtatasa na ito as this encourage the students into self-expression and independence. Being aware of the scoring guides. So the student should be aware with the scoring guides or skills that will be used before doing the task. Specify all the things needed to be included. Then assess and specify content in portfolio. So teachers should have concrete assessment and specific content portfolio. Dahil dito na ipapaliwanag at naitutukoy kung ano nga ba ang mga paksang iyon at impormasyon that they have to include their portfolio. So it is important for teachers to be specific of this thing, especially in specifying each entry and how it will be assessed. So fourth one is giving clear and detailed guidelines for portfolio presentation. So it is explained that they need for attractive, clear and attractive, clear and attractive presentation. Um, Clear and attractive presentation, data drafts, attach reflections, or comments cards. So ito, students presents many evidences as learning. There is a tendency for students to present as many evidences of learning as they can when left on their own. So teachers set guidelines and detailed information. The teacher must therefore set clear guidelines and also detailed information on how the portfolio will be presented. The third is teacher explains how portfolio will graded. So of course, the teacher needs to explain how portfolio will be graded and also with the rubrics. It is clearly explained on how portfolio will be graded because confusion will arise. So confusion will arise. So as if the teacher does not clearly stated the guidelines of portfolio assessment. That is why it is important to provide students with abundance of what the rules and guidelines in portfolio presentation. The fifth one is, according to Peter Gallagher, 2001, the fifth one is informing key school officials, parents, and other stakeholders. He stated there that notify your department head, dean, or principals. So notify them. Do not attempt to use the portfolio assessment method without notifying your department head, dean, or principals. So So the next is inform your school officers, parents, and stakeholders. So you have to inform them. You have to inform your school officers. You have to inform your parents and stakeholders because this can lead into a good decision maker. The next one is precaution in case students will complain. So this will serve as a precaution in case students who later complain about your new assessment procedure. The fourth one is needs assistance and guidelines from principals. So you as a teacher needs to to modify and set a guidelines coming from the head officials or a head officials or you know or a principals. So that's all for the informing key school officials, parent, and other stakeholders. So the sixth one is, let's move on to the sixth one. According to John B. Biggs, 1996, it stated there that the sixth one is development of the portfolio. Support and encouragement require teacher and students. So by teacher and students at this stage, it can devote class time to student-teacher conferences, to practicing reflection and self-assessment, and to portfolio preparation. Stress the importance of reflection and self-assessment while preparing the portfolio. These are essential questions that teacher can use to guide the students in reflection and self-assessment. First, what did I learn from the activity? So that's the first thing that you gonna question. Second, what is my best piece and how I can improve this? So this can be done by class brainstorming or in peers, portfolio partners who can help each other select samples of their work and who can comment on their work. Then ensuring them the portfolio presents students' own works, accomplishments, and giving guiding feedback to them. Support and encouragement require teacher and students. So of course, the students support the and encourage the students on how to develop their portfolio. Then, devote class time to student-teacher conferences. So, ayun na nga sa sinabi ko kanina, they can devote class time to student-teacher conferences as the teacher practicing reflection and self-assessment and to portfolio preparation. Then, practicing reflection and self-assessment. So, of course, you have to practice the self-reflection and self-assessment. So they can lead us to stress the importance of reflection and self-assessment while preparing the portfolio. Then to portfolio preparation. So of course, to portfolio preparation, it ensured the manifesting. It ensured the manifesting required as what the evidences, and it can be develop some general required strategy in assessing students' performance when it comes to implementing portfolio assessment. So the second and the last one is ensuring portfolio that represents students. It represents the students' work, ensuring them the portfolio represents students' own works. Again, own works, accomplishments, and giving guiding feedback to them. The last one is give feedback to them. So of course you have to give your feedback. You have to give feedback. So this is my references, as you can see. And if you will try to browse this, it's free, and I encourage you to read about the stages in implementing portfolio assessment. So that's all for my report. I hope you are better understand of it. Thank you for listening and goodbye.